Now, moving towards the second question, is that we live in the world increasingly that's in very high speed is shaped by modernity, technology, and utility. It's going on a very vast speed. Even we have heard like that when we run on a road, right? And there is a bunch of flowers on the side of the road, but due to the speed we are moving in, we are not able to see that flower. We just see that line is running. For example, it's a pink flower, so we are just able to see that pink line is going on. We don't see the flower exactly. So in the speed, in the world with this speed, in the world with this much of technology, what do you think that poetry has the power to transform the human consciousness, or it has just become more of personal skills or what?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, we cannot avoid these questions actually. But let me address the question this way: that is there a conceptual gap between technology and poetry? I mean, that is to say that ultimately, see, why I'm saying this, that it is not a question of having a practical gap. That you could choose to stop. You could choose to stop in your, you choose to slacken the pace of your life and not to take certain technological measures if you want to. That freedom is we still have. Anyway, so what I want to say that is there a conceptual gap between technology and poetry? So I think, yeah, let me, if I, if we look into what poetic appreciation is and how it is incompatible with the algorithms of our technology. I mean, just to, I'm taking help of Kant. Kant's, kind of theory of certain, he gives certain criteria about aesthetic appreciation. And if I can take it and apply it to poetic appreciation, there are three or four points which I think are very, very pertinent. And then each of them shows that how it conflicts with, the very rubric of technology. First is he talks about immediacy. Immediacy means in the poetic appreciation is not something which can be achieved through conceptual mediation or inference. You cannot have a major premise, and then from premise you cannot deduce that this is how the appreciation is. That I mean, of course, you can be given in the literature students. They are all given these theories of appreciation, rhetorics, prosody, all these things they do. But ultimately, you see the even how much you learn rhetorics and prosody, it won't ensure that you become a poet. So to be a theoretician about poetry and to be a poet, they are vastly different. So what I wanted to say is that this immediacy, this non-inferentiality, this is a contrast point with the algorithmic procedures or the procedures of the AI, for example, because there it is all the you have to go through step by step, and you have to infer one step from another. So logic and kind of deducibility from one step from the other is actually a part and parcel of technology. So their immediacy, in terms of immediacy, they are at they're opposed. Second, Kant talks about detachment, detachment and non-utility. That beauty is useless. A poem does not have any use or utility. Whereas you see, technology is by default utilitarian. You have to. It is a task-driven force because you have to achieve a purpose. So naturally, it is utilitarian. It is by default. It is utilitarian. I mean, technology. Then he also talks about freedom. Yes, freedom. This freedom means, you see, the freedom of the imagination. I mean, you cannot ask me to write a you can ask me to write a poetry about a horse, but then you see my imagination will run in its own way where it will overpower the normal, the official, the standard concept of a horse. Whereas you see algorithmic procedures, if by algorithmic procedures I draw a picture of a horse, or even nowadays people are writing poetry by means of AI, but there it will be that writing poetry by means of AI, you would be able to tell more about this, that how you use AI for writing poetry. I think Salman usually says that it is in literature, AI cannot do good literature. Their AI fails. Anyway, I don't know about that, but people are using AI in order to produce works of art. And those art pieces are gaining prizes in the competition. Anyway, to come back to poetry, that there you see that freedom of imagination. That is how to break free from the standard concept of a horse. That is in our example. So that freedom for imagination is there in case of poetry. It is not there in the case of the algorithmic procedures of AI. And lastly, universality. Universality. See, poetry is personal, but in poetry there is you are a writer of poetry. You would be doing much better than
Yes, ma'am.
that. It may be very personal, but you yearn for universalization, that it will be appreciated by everybody. No poet can, ultimately say that, no, I've written the poetry, it is only me, and it is, I'm perfectly satisfied that I understand my poetry. If nobody appreciates it, it doesn't matter. You yearn for, you yearn for universalization, though. So there is this very agoristic blend that a personal wants to, throw up to a universality. Maybe again to record back into the personal. This tension is not there in, that personal moving, yearning or agonistically moving towards universalization, that is not there in algorithmic procedures of AI. So in this way, they are, of course, they are opposed to each other. But at the same, and of course, we know all these things, that these are commonplace remarks. You know much better than me that poetry thrives on ambiguities. Poetry thrives on multi-layeredness. Poetry thrives on indeterminacies and breaking structures. Whereas we see these are not accommodated in the with the procedures of the technology. But at the same time, I must say, we must appreciate that even when suppose a poet is using AI, often we use AI to get a vast vocabulary so that we can choose one particular word from it, or to get a vast repertoire of phrases, poetic phrases from which we can get something. Even the poets have to use AI, I suppose, but at every stage of using AI, even to write poetry, there I think a poet will be able to see that how the algorithmic procedures, there it is the freedom of the poet. The freedom, even while he is using the mechanical procedures of AI, is not servile. It still has the option to see that how he differs from the procedures of the AI. Because how he differs from the deliverables of the AI, because at every point he has the option whether to take the deliverables of the AI or not to take the deliverables of the AI. And a human, that is what I always, we do a lot of philosophy of AI, nowadays in our syllabus, because that is increasingly becoming popular. But there, what is bothering me, I do not know much about the technical aspects of AI, but what bothers me is this, that a human can alternate between the personal and the public. A human can alternate between
Ma'am, sorry.
these.
In between, please move a little bit backward.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I usually get carried away when I talk. So, yeah. So you see, as I was telling you, that we have the option to oscillate between between being personal and being public. Engaging or being very deterministic, and alternative not being deterministic. Being perspectival, or being neutral. We are free to oscillate between these. But I do not know whether you can command a machine to oscillate between these. Or even if you command the machine that, look, you now give me a very perspective-centric, very subjective, narration of this flower. Okay, he gives. Then I ask him that, okay, now you make it very neutral. Maybe, AI is able to follow its instructions, but the real-time tortuous exercise in going from the personal to the public, from the perspectival to the neutral, that real-time tortuous agony, whether it is felt by the AI or not, that is still questionable. So there, I think, a poet, even though he is using AI, even in writing poetry, there the distance, he will always be in a position to appreciate the distance that will remain, unbridgeable gap that will remain between, AI and, technology and poetry. But at the same time, that a new field of poetry, the poetry that deals with AI, a new field of literature, a new field of philosophy, and a new field of poetry on the nuances of the AI. Poetry is actually enriching by technology. Poetry is not being impoverished by technology.
Okay, got it, ma'am. Thank you for accepting
Thank you.
and addressing these questions.